Well, I'm back. Good neighbors. Oh, what is this? It's getting too crowded in here. I'm sure the data agrees. A good neighbor is a distant neighbor. Rearrange the data cubes however you like, as long as no data cube has more than 3 neighbors. Well, that's interesting. How many people versus how many data cubes are there? If I just set mem1 is equal to nearest data cube, do I have a worker for every cube? There's no way I have a worker for every cube, right? And then pick up mem1. Yeah. So that picks, everyone goes in, they pick up data cubes. This one's gonna be hard. I am actually fairly intimidated by this one. I mean, what I guess I need to do is I need to I need to just keep running this in the loop where for each deer as mem2, I need to calculate as mem3 plus mem2 if that's a data cube. If mem2 is equal to a data cube, then this is how I will calculate how many cubes are next to any given cube. Fascinating. Very, very fascinating. I'm not too sure what the easiest way to do this is, but I think that I'm just going to kind of do it randomly. So just grab whatever cube. If it's next to 3 or more, just move it somewhere, and then try to just keep doing it until you find a place to put the cube. So basically, pick up the data cube. If we do for each deer, if mem3 is greater than 3, then we need to just step in a random direction and drop it. Then we need to step in another random direction. And we need to loop. And eventually this will disperse all the cubes. Yeah, slowly but surely this is going to move all the cubes around until they get kind of sorted into random spots. But because of this kind of step thing, it's not very efficient. So I guess if I bias towards stepping purely to random, purely to empty tiles, I would eventually, like, that might be more efficient. Like, this will eventually happen upon a pattern by pure luck, such that they, well, they're putting them towards the walls, so this isn't actually working out as well as I would hope. I think if they're towards the walls, then, you know, I basically was trying to rely on chaos theory here. What if... not chaos theory, just random chance here, but it's not working out that well. So I find the nearest cube, I pick it up, I check if, well, here's the thing. If, how about this? I then do, I step to that cube. I then check if it is, if mem3 is greater than 3. And if it is, then I pick it up and I step in a random direction. And then drop it. And then I step in another random direction. So this way I'm not picking up every cube for no reason. I'm only moving cubes that have greater than 3 neighbors. This might work a little bit more efficiently. No, see, people are moving cubes even if they have 1 neighbor, which is not what I want. Oh! Oh! The reason this isn't working is I never clear mem3. So after a while, everyone's always moving every cube. Alright, this looks like it's behaving significantly better. It's gonna take a while, but people are slowly spreading them out. Eventually this program might halt. I hold out a very vain hope. I mean, if I look at the state of the board, I think it's the case that all the cubes don't have more than 3 neighbors, right? So I don't know why it's not actually working. I mean, at this point, everything's pretty well distributed, except for this guy, who's, like, kind of by a bunch. But... I don't really understand. Yeah, I'm not too sure. If mem3 is less than or equal to 3 and... I mean, that could work because basically at that point it means that people aren't, like, stepping on each other's toes, so to speak. But it should be that... I guess, what do I need to do? I pick up a cube. If it's greater than that, then I need to... Do I need to step into a random direction, check again... And if there's no, yeah, that works. I then check again. So, if I then will pick up the cube and I'll step in a random direction. If, I will only drop a cube once I've identified that my tile does not have 3 cubes on it. That's just the way it has to be. So, if it's greater than 3... So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the cube. I'm going to pick up mem1. And then... If it's... Okay, so I step to mem1. If it's the case that mem3 is less than or equal to 3, then I'm going to step in a random direction, and I'm going to jump back. So this cube is effectively safe. So then what I need to do is, otherwise it's greater, it's strictly less than 3. It's greater than or equal to 3. So then I need to step in a random direction. And if I'm standing on a nothing, if I'm not, until I'm standing on nothing, once I have a clear space under me, I will then do for each deer. And I'll do all this again. If mem2 is equal to a data cube, we will... I can reuse mem1, actually. So, as mem1. If mem1 is equal to a data cube, then I will calc mem1 is equal to mem1 plus... I will calculate mem3 is equal to mem3 plus 1. And I'm also going to set mem3 back to 0 here. So, I step in a random direction. I keep stepping in random directions until I have a tile that I know is clear. And then we'll check, is this tile one that does not have 3 or more cubes around it? If mem3 is then less than 3, I will drop the cube. Yep, so here's what I need to do. I pick up whatever the cube I'm standing on. I will then drop it, and we jump back to the start of the program. If it is not less than 3, then we need to find another tile to step on. So now we only put tiles down on spaces where we know there are no other cubes, basically. Except for whatever reason, these people are just running around. And the reason that they're running around is because they keep adding everything up. So this mem3 set I need to do elsewhere, because I don't loop back to it. So I set mem3 is equal to 0 here, and then I do it that way. Alright, now people should be dropping their cubes as appropriate. Okay, so these people aren't picking up cubes unnecessarily, which is good. These people are picking up cubes unnecessarily. I'm not too sure why they're doing that. But slowly but surely everyone is spreading the cubes out. But why is this person... Why are they picking up cubes when they don't need to? This person picked this one up. And he found that there were 2 cubes next to it. So he puts it down. I don't get one little problem with the logic here, which is why people are unnecessarily picking up cubes that have so few neighbors on them. This person found 1 neighbor, so he puts it down. He then looks at this cube and picks it up. And the reason is that there is... Damn it. There's something wrong where I'm not setting mem3 to 0 when I need to be setting mem3 to 0. And I don't know what that is yet. So let's just reason about this again. So mem1 is equal to the nearest data cube. Mem3 is set to 0. I step to mem1, so I go to the cube. I check. If mem2 is equal to a data cube, I set mem3 is equal to mem3 plus mem2. That should be 1. That should not be mem2. So I was adding the value of the cube as opposed to just 1 to count how many cubes there were. So now, people should not be picking up data cubes for no reason. So, as people move further and further away from the center, they're kind of useless, because they're not really... They're just moving cubes around for no reason. Now, people are... The puzzle's not being solved, even though it is the case that no cubes are next to anything. And the reason for that sucks. Basically, the problem is that everyone's constantly picking up cubes, so the game is not recognizing that I've won. Because if you look around, this person's to find that they're next to 3 cubes. They're gonna drop this cube. Oh. I need to do... I don't need to be strictly less than. I can be less than or equal to 3. I was, if I do just less than, because the conditions are more than 3, so I was actually excluding the case where they have 3 neighbors. So I was making the puzzle harder than I needed to. So now people will stop picking up cubes because every cube that they walk to, they're not going to pick it up if it... Well, they will only pick it up if it falls into the case that the cube is in a bad state. Otherwise, they're just going to walk around examining every single cube. And eventually, nobody will be left holding any cubes, and the puzzle should just end. So, as you see... 3... We're in a state that should be victorious, right? I mean, if you look, all the cubes are on the ground. Oh, this cube has 4 neighbors. Oh, so we just need to wait for until one person finds that cube. Which sucks, because I have no idea how long that's going to take. But... yeah, so it's up to random chance, right? Fuck. Yeah, I need to wait for somebody to get down into the bottom right corner, and then they happen to pick up the cube that has the 4 neighbors. Oh, man. And no one's even come close to picking it up yet, because they're not... I wish instead of nearest data cube, I just had, like, a way of systematically going through every data cube. But I don't have that. So, instead of stepping randomly, like, I need people to, like, scan the room? So that we ensure that every tile has been visited. Because if I run this again, chances are the exact same thing is going to happen. Chances are that the way this program ends every single time is that there's one cube with 4 neighbors that just never gets detected. And that sucks. Because I thought I had this being... I thought I was being very clever here. I can't even tell what cube has more than 3 neighbors right now. Everyone's walking to cubes. Okay. Is it... Oh, this person. They're kind of stuck there. They can't figure out where to put this cube down. They keep finding tiles that have 4. So... yeah, stepping in random... There we are. Alright. So yeah, sometimes this program just doesn't halt, and then the game kills it. But as long as that doesn't happen more than 50% of the time, I technically won. And it does not happen more than 50% of the time. So I did it! Victory! Oh boy. Who's ready for understaffed sorting? Not me, I'm not doing this tonight, but I want to see what the hell my life has in front of me. Hey, this looks familiar. We had a similar assignment together a long time ago, but back then there was one worker for every data cube. This time we're running a little low on workers. We should have been more careful with our human labor over the years. It'll be more difficult, but I'm sure you can figure out how to sort this line. Smallest on the left, biggest on the right. You know the drill by now. So across 3 pairs of workers, I need to perform sorting. So basically, what I want to do, is partition this. So everyone steps down, and then they kind of have a starting type thing. What am I thinking? Nothing for right now, because I'm definitely calling this for tonight. So thank you all for watching. Have yourself good nights.